knows how you come across somebody once in a while you shouldn't have messed with. That's me.
I am not an African American.
You're Oreo cookie, white in the inside and black on the outside.
I don't have an afro, I have an Amerifro.
Talking that idiotic stuff you talk about, I will slap you.
Go ahead. Make my day.
Black as the ace of spades, but 100% American.
Heard around the world by everybody and their mama. The Jesse Lee Peterson Radio Show.
Uniting the races with truth instead of dividing them with lies. We're also rebuilding the family by rebuilding the man. I am Jesse Lee Peterson. Welcome to the show. Thank you so much for being with me, folks. I absolutely appreciate it. I have with me Sam Paredes, Executive Director of Gun Owners of California. He's a member of the Board of Directors of Gun Owners of America and Treasurer of Gun Owners Foundation. He's worked with Gun Owners of California for over 30 years. And I wanted to talk to him about gun legislation in California because it is through the roof. Let's see here. Sam, good morning, sir, and welcome to the show. Thanks for coming on.
Reverend Peterson, it's a pleasure to be with you. It's quite an honor. Thank you for having me.
Well, it's an honor to have you here. You can call me Jesse.
Yes, sir. Okay.
I want to just talk to you about several things in the time that we have together. In California last Tuesday, the Senate Public Safety Committee heard 9 gun bills. What's up with that? Can you give an example of what the 9 gun bills are about?
Sure. For anybody who wants any of the details, you can go to our website at www.gunownersca.com. But, Jesse, these bills show the intent of the California State Legislature. They want to they have 2 bills that will ban semi-automatic firearms as we know them. Everybody who has one will have to register it as a California assault weapon, and then once that registration period is over, no one else will be able to buy one of these semi-automatic rifles. And I'm talking about, not just your, the black guns, the ones that they demonize, but 22 rifles, Ruger 1022s and Remington 642s, and all of these regular target and hunting semi-automatics and are also included. So they want to ban semi-automatics. They want to license anybody who sells ammunition. They want to license everybody who buys ammunition. And then every ammunition purchased, they want it to be registered so that it's reported to the Department of Justice.
I read that. They want Senate Bill 53 requires persons to buy an annual ammunition purchase permit.
Yes.
That is mind-blowing. I don't even understand that.
Yeah, they want you to basically get a license where they will do a background check on you, and that just gives you the privilege in California of buying ammunition. And then when you buy the ammunition, Jesse, you're going to have to go to the dealer and give them your thumbprint for every box of ammunition, every round of ammunition that you purchase.
Wow.
To add on top of that, there's another bill where they want to put a nickel per bullet tax on all ammunition.
Amazing.
1 nickel for every bullet that is sold in California. And, of course, that money's going to go to something that has nothing to do with guns.
That's right. Entitlement program, gay program, homosexual programs, and things like that.
Yes,
Senate Bill 108 requires mandatory locked storage of firearms within a locked house, regardless of whether anyone is present.
Yes. Well, they don't seem to get it at the California State Legislature. That the Supreme Court said basically that although the government could compel people to buy, to have a trigger lock or to have a gun safe, the government cannot force people to use them in their own homes. And Heller versus D.C. was a decision that came down a few years ago where the Supreme Court said that the right to keep and bear arms is an individual right. And in that individual right, the government cannot force people to keep guns in their homes in a manner that is unavailable, makes them unavailable to them immediately for self-defense. And these people say that, well, when you leave the house, you have to put it in the gun safe. And it's unclear whether you walk outside the house and you don't. Are you breaking the law? And if somebody walks into your home, Jesse, and they see a gun out, they can report you to the police and have you arrested for not having it locked up.
That's amazing. So you can have a family member over just visiting, hanging out,
Mm-hmm.
and they can report that they saw your gun land on your desk or somewhere in your room,
Mm-hmm.
and they can take it.
That's correct.
You could be arrested, you say?
Yes, you can be arrested and charged with a crime. It's, under the guise of safety, these people are taking common sense and completely throwing it out the window.
This is what happens when you allow government to take over any aspect of your life. There's no end to the government destruction.
Yes, sir. That's exactly the way it is. And Jesse, we when we testified last week in the legislature, we pointed out all of these things to them, and we especially pointed out that none of the measures that they're considering in California will have any impact on crime. None of them would have prevented any crime. None of them will solve any crimes. None of them will have prevented any massacres that have occurred. And they still want to do it just because they've got to do something. They're government. They've got to do something to address these issues. And
was that their response to you once you testified? They
Yes, sir.
we got to do something anyway?
That's right. That's right. We have to do something. It's our responsibility. And we point out to them that, the registration programs don't serve any purpose except to give them a list to confiscate guns. And then we pointed out to them several occasions where guns have been confiscated because of registration systems. So please don't tell us that we are scared needlessly that registration does not lead to confiscation.
Yeah.
It happened here in California. It happened in New York. It happened in Chicago.
Let me take a quick break, Sam.
Yes, sir.
888-775-3773, 888-77-JESSE. Back in a moment.
Don't really tell the whole truth. It don't show what's deep inside or read between the lines. You can break the back, but you can't break the spirit of a small town southern man. And he bowed his head to Jesus, and he stood for Uncle Sam, and he only loved one woman, was always proud of what he had. He said his greatest
I have with me Sam Paredes. He is the executive director of Gun Owners of America. They have been fighting for a long, long time to protect our Second Amendment. Sam, let me ask you about this, and I want you to tell the folks what they can do to help, what we all can do to help you.
Well, Jesse, number one is people need to open their eyes and their ears and understand what it is that the left is trying to do with us. People should understand that what happens, that they should care about what happens in California, because what happens in California either affects or infects the rest of the country.
Yeah.
And so when they need to be informed and understand that, here in California, that they want to ban the sale of all used guns amongst people. They don't want to allow anybody to sell a used gun to each other. They really do want to ban guns, as you point out.
Yeah, they do. That's the overall mission, is to ban guns, period.
Yes, sir. And what people can do is take action. You have to write your local legislator, your senator or your representative or your assemblyman, depending on who it is in your district, in your home, and you have to make sure that they believe in the Second Amendment and the First Amendment and the entire Constitution. And then you have to take take time to support the organizations that are carrying the fight for you on your behalf in your legislature and throughout the country. If you support Gun Owners of California, Google Gun Owners of California to find out what it is that we are doing. Gun Owners of America are a national organization that was one of the leaders in defeating the gun control measures that were in the United States Senate this last week.
That's right.
And be a part of the movement. Join with people who are carrying the fight to the legislature. If any of the other organizations that you're involved in, pay attention to what it is that they're doing. Jesse, you and I know that good people, we love our families, we love our God, we love our church, we love our work, our vacations, our hobbies, all of these things, and we fill our lives with so many things, and we don't dedicate a little bit of our life, a little bit of our time to be able to fight for freedom and what's right in America, whereas our opponents, their church, their God, their family, their education, their hobbies are all about politics and being in control, as you point out so often. And we have to, if we were to all spend and dedicate a little bit of our time to fighting back politically, electing good people and supporting organizations that are fighting on our behalf, being informed by listening to your radio show is a huge step. Once you know what's going on, take some action. And that's what we can do.
What's your website for the folks?
www.gunownersca.com. That's GUNOWNERSCA.com.
One of the bills, another bill that these folks heard on Tuesday, Senate Bill 293, banned the sale of conventional handguns if the State Department of Justice approved the sale of owner-authorized smart handgun technology. I don't understand that.
Well, they think that James Bond is for real. The legislature, Jesse, the legislature said that as soon as somebody in the world invents safe gun technology and they sell it at retail, all handguns in California will have to have this technology. In other words, a gun where when you pick it up, it somehow reads your DNA or your fingerprint or your heat signature, and it will only work for you. So there are so many problems involving this, but that's what they're saying, that once this technology is developed in the world, all handguns in California are going to have them.
But most people are not going to be able to afford that.
No question about it. But, Jesse, it's like saying, since at one of these super high-tech universities, they've actually transported what is called a quark, a very small piece of matter from one fish tank to another fish tank. It's like saying the minute somebody invents a Star Trek transporter, Californians are going to be required to use it in order to prevent greenhouse gases, and that way you won't have to drive your cars anymore. This is the kind of thinking that they're using with this kind of technology. Jesse, if you and I were having dinner together and somebody came in and I had an owner-authorized gun, and somehow I was not able to use it, and I tried to give the gun to you so that you could defend us, it wouldn't work. Wow. And it would be like me handing you a rock, or a husband and a wife, or it's or a police officer who's in a firefight and has to hand his gun off to another police officer, and it doesn't work because of this technology.
The interesting thing, these people who are voting to ban guns, they are heavily armed, they are protected, they have bodyguards. They're not talking about
removing guns from themselves and their families. They're talking about us doing that. They don't want us to have the right to protect ourselves and our families, as though our life our lives are not as valuable as their lives.
That's what happens when you achieve control like they have achieved so far, and what they want to do. They place themselves above everybody else. They achieve some sort of, American royalty, and that they are special, more special than us.
Yeah.
You and I know that that's just plain flat out true. That in this country we are all equal in importance, no matter what.
We have about a half a minute left, Sam. I just want to make the point. In California, there are a lot of Republicans living in Democratic-controlled districts. They still should call that Democratic representative and let them know, if you don't protect the Second Amendment, you're out of there.
We should never get off the high moral ground. We should speak the truth and fight for freedom and the Constitution anytime,
Sam,
all the time.
Thank you so much, Sam, for being with me. We'll have you back.
Thank you, Jesse. It's my honor and my pleasure.
Thank you, buddy. Same here.
Bye-bye.
Bye. Back in a moment.